Fiumana, CCO of MeetingPackage. It's a really interesting forum, like customer experience. I was actually talking earlier and I was thinking, I'm probably one of the worst people to get a customer experience. My customer experience when I'm in business travel is I just want to get in a hotel as quickly as possible and get out and get into another meeting room. And that's literally how I spend half my life. So I'm customer experience-wise for myself is probably 0. And I'm probably the worst person to take on a holiday. You can ask my wife. My customer experience is to go up to the tallest mountain in the Nordics and be away from people. It's amazing that I'm actually in the SaaS world or even in a commercial world with all these different styles. And even to beat, I even bring a notebook rather than my AI Gemini. I realized I couldn't bring it today. Anyway, before I get into my case study, because I thought, let's take a real life example, something more practical, I wanted to give you a bit of a story, break the ice from all the data points that us tech guys can give you to optimize your customer experience or your sales platform. So I'm going to give you my dog. He's a really beautiful dog. His name's Tino, and my kids and my wife adore him, and he's a menace. And the thing is, he's like a sales pipeline. He eats anything he can, and he poops it right back out as fast as you want it. And that's the thing I love about him the most. The other thing is I can't trust anything that he does because of the breed he is. And I'll tell you a story that happened only a few weeks ago. And sadly, I have a lot of stories about this animal, but I'll just keep to one because, as Charles will probably show, I'm going to be late as well, FYI. But let me tell you. So I come into my house, and my wife is there. She's Swedish, so very placid. They're, calm, excellent. I'm Italian with 3 other passports, and I'm a little bit volatile. Walk in, my wife's super stressed and actually particularly angry. Of course, as a husband, I may look and think that could be my fault. But I wasn't. For the first time, it wasn't me, it was my dog Tino. My other 2 kids, who are 10 and 12, Clara and Isabella, they're there screaming, shouting, going, "We're going to die!" And I'm like, oh my God, what's happened? It's not a SaaS startup company meeting, is it? Nope. Of course, my dog had consumed what we class as raisins, supposedly super poisonous. But you've got to understand, when I look at my dog, I think he's invincible to see what I've seen come out of him over the years. Now, of course, we want to make quick decisions. That's what a sales pipeline is all about. We want automation. So my wife makes some quick decisions. We're going to take him to the vet and we're going to save his life. I'm going to go, that sounds great. You do that. I'll stand out here at base looking from head office thinking, this is a great process. All right, she goes, you give 2 drops to a dog, miraculously, they start throwing up. The process may not be working as head office first thought. Of course, 17 particular throw-ups later, you do find quite a lot of the process broken. And in his case, what happened was we got half a bag of raisins popped out of him. Miracle, we saved our dog. But unfortunately, with our dog, you don't know what else is in the pipeline. And of course, he continues to share with us his experiences of the last few days. Chocolate bar wrappers, sweet wrappers from Freda's Goodies, supposedly poisonous as well. But as you know, I'm a proud owner of my dog, and he's invincible. Of course, he continues. And of course, we're now at number 10. The vet is particularly looking puzzled at my wife, as is she really the right person to own this type of dog? Of course, she comes back and tells me, maybe it's my fault. I accept. Next point. He then decides to throw up one big brown item. The vet goes, is that horse poo? My wife goes, impossible. I go, very likely. I did take him for a run earlier today, and he did swipe at something on the 10K marker when I wasn't paying attention. And of course, the vet goes, yes, it is horse poo. And my wife starts to get even more embarrassed. I'm like, this is crazy. Now we get advised, maybe you should wear a muzzle. My wife sort of tells her, well, most of these items have come from inside our house. And of course, he continues. And the next thing he does, throws up one last time. My wife is in shock. The vet is astonished. Everyone is shouting at each other. And you'll just have to come later on and ask me what that is. But now I've got your attention. So let's talk about what MeetingPackage is really about. We're not a dog, thankfully, even though we run like one half the day, not knowing which way to go. But what our purpose in life is to basically digitalize the meeting and events and group business sales process. And I tell you, it is a challenge, but it can be done. What we do is we digitalize your customer journey on your website into a booking engine funnel. Some of the clients here today, Strawberry, Scandic, are already embracing our technology as we speak. We have a huge base across Europe and in the US. We're a small company, we're based in Finland, we love chocolate, we drink a lot of vodka, and we love to do our meetings in the sauna, but we know a thing or two about digitalizing booking journeys. Probably the thing that we're most proud about right now is our channel manager. It's the largest channel manager of venues and distribution partners globally. So from a population of 4 million people, we're sort of pushing above our weight, which is typical Nordic tradition when it comes to SaaS. And of course, we got players like Accor and Sonesta now pushing in onto that. And again, in the UK, we have further players coming on board next year. So those are the two pieces what we're going to talk about today about digitalization. Of course, we have other products, but they all revolve around our e-proposal, which everything funnels towards. And that's part of a customer experience. When you're looking from a chain experience and you're having a decentralized franchise environment or even a managed community, one of the hardest things to control is the message house that your hotels send to your end customer. You can control your website, you can control the actual way the funnel is created, but how it lands in an email and that after experience is a challenge in its own format. And that's where our customer environment really gives more security to a brand promise. So that's us in a nutshell, but it's a lot more complicated than that because we have the joy of connecting up to great players like Muse, which make our lives super easy, along with Oracle and many more PMS, S&C, RMS, and CRMs to boot. So we have a huge integrations team, and that's pretty much our strength, is the mid-layer. So you can't see us until we come to events like this. Apart from that, you'd never know we exist. And that's the way we like to be, in true Finnish style. So, my message to you, because I'll tell you one thing, if you're anything like me, you can't remember anything, let alone everyone's name, so apologies if I forget it, and you've told me it, but I just have an inherent problems of remembering. So I'm just gonna ask you to remember 3 things. Is in the M&E world, your customers know their priority list. Let's not beat around the bush. It's very similar to the B2C world. You know it yourself, how you like to buy. It's not big a difference in the M&E. It can be digitalized. Sadly, and I'm not going to preach what C-Event tell you every year about responding to their leads really quickly, so you know the game, but fortunately, it is true, and that's got nothing to do with C-Event data. I can share the same data, and I'm talking about your own leads, not even the leads that you're coming from your distribution partners. So sorry, guys, you just got to speed up. There is actually a golden rule. I don't think I made it up, but I did sleep on it last night, so I thought it was my idea, but I'll tell you the golden rule of ours later on. And then prioritizing revenue. The way I look at this, coming from an M&E background, is my big revenue generator isn't actually the bit that maybe I can digitalize. And that's where the digitalization supports you. Because there's sort of like a given rule in the M&E world where 80% of your volume is 20% of your revenue. The other 20% of your couldn't spit that one out, could I? 20% of your actual volume creates 80% of your actual revenue, which is your profit margin, which is your large medium business. So that's actually the whole point of how you can look at it digitalizing is I'm trying to take away loads of admin tasks from my employees, which no different from what Muse just told you a second ago, but to give it the opportunity to give a better customer experience for the larger events that will actually drive the revenue into rooms like these, fundamentally. So, what do customers want? Well, I will do it because I am going to be late, Charles. So everyone stand up for a split second because you've been sitting down for like, I don't know, an hour and a half. And also my last director of sales did an event and he made everyone stand up. So now we're going to keep it a tradition in MeetingPackage. We're going to always make customer experience stand up. So, let me hold on to my questions. All right. So, I'm going to keep it super simple. If anyone loves to run marathons, you'll totally understand me. If you love to run 21K, you'll totally understand me. If you love to run 1K, you may not understand me. When you buy a pair of shoes, you do already an umpteen amount of research. You've got YouTube, you've got speakers, you've got podcasts. I've got loads of information. I know what I want to buy. Good news is, I know the size of my shoe. They're all pretty much standard nowadays. So when I ask you, stay standing, do you do your own research before you buy a product? Stay standing. You guys are super due diligent. I don't do it, but don't worry about it. When you're going to buy a pair of trainers, do you already know your shoe size, but you get a bit disappointed when you've gone down that booking funnel where you found the right price on Google, you searched in it, and then, of course, miraculously, your shoe size is out of stock? It's a little bit disappointing, right? Stay standing. When you do find your shoe size, do you check if your return policy is still status? Because if you're as cheap as me, you totally want a return policy. Not that my wife follows the same policy, but I do. Stay standing. And then the ultimate question is, if you have all those experiences, why wouldn't you do that with your M&E customer who wants the same? Stay standing. You can sit down, guys. So what is interesting without this, and I forgot one of my questions for you, but I don't know about you, but when I find time to book my flight or buy those shoes, it's usually around 9 p.m. because I've just come out of all those bloody meetings that some idiot put me in. And it's usually not myself, thankfully. And that's no different from M&E customers on the distribution total today. Trends today tell us that 36% of meetings that booked, either through a channel manager or from a website, happen outside of your office hours. Pure and simple. The way I look at it from a hotelier point of view is, I've got a free agent working 24/7, taking leads all the time, while my guys are taking a rest. A well-deserved rest. But that's how I look at it. So that's actually how the M&E customer is. 95% of them already know what they want. They send an RFP to you. They're really just looking for availability and price, something that you can present online. They want easy terms. We all got forced to do easy terms after the pandemic. Nothing has changed. That just created the bar of terms and conditions lower. Again, easy. And they just need to know what's included. This is just customer data research. If you don't provide that, you might not be willing to know, but you're already dropping out on leads. Let me talk about my case study quickly. I'm already out of time. Oh, right. We're way out of it. Okay, so 24x ROI. It was a London venue. They have 5% increase in revenue conversion. And the biggest thing is that we're able to improve speed of response due to client satisfaction. And of course, we obviously save time. These are easy things for SaaS companies to calculate. We can do this really well. Before we save those time, you need to understand where they came from. A disjointed, disconnected software tech. What happened? Emails coming from multiple channels, websites, going into a funnel, which were, in reality, 50% unhandled. So that was an easy win for us. And then on top of that, they had to go to multiple sources. Pricing isn't easy to find in the M&E world. You have to go to an Excel. You have to go to a revenue manager. You have to go to somewhere. It's not instantaneous the way it should be. Not like ideas for bedroom pricing put on your website. This was the mechanism of our hotel. What did we do to them? Well, the good news is with MeetingPackages, we have a lot of data to share every customer. What we can tell you today is customers today are ready to book up to 75 people, minimum. By the end of next year, it'll be up to 150, the way the data is showing us today. So that's actually quite a big type of meeting set. What is interesting about the total demand that we're getting into our distribution channels and into the booking engines, and this is just general trends, 50%, oops, sorry, AI not helping me out here. Sorry, wrong data. 75% of the demand is for 50 people and less. And that's actually a huge amount of demand sitting in an area where the customer is willing to self-service themselves and present an extreme brand experience. On top of that 50%, those lead times are within 90 days and less. So everything is more last minute. This is being confirmed by Cvent, and actually I was on the Muse podcast yesterday, and they were saying the same trends. Everything's last minute. And on top of that, if you even go down to 10 people meetings, then the lead time for that is under 15 to even as close to 24 hours out. Sales agents can't create a contract, organize an event, get all the information out in such a short lead time in a high quality environment. And that's what digitalizations will allow you to do, is to take those datas and drive that. What I found super interesting in quite late last night, to be honest with you, was 54% of all pipeline that's ending up into a digital channel is actually going onto instant booking right now. If I took the data from 2022, it was actually only 22%. So it actually really shows you the willingness of customer behavior to actually change into a digital format. It's not them that's holding them back. It's actually us. It's not to do with technology. It's actually us as hoteliers. It's our sort of vulnerability of allowing availability online. To go with that, sorry. To know that, I wanted to share you a case of this UK chain that actually now they've got so embedded with the instant automation, they're actually now only allowing 7 hotels in their portfolio. It's actually Leonardo Hotels, I can name them, it's not a great secret, where they are actually only making those instant bookable only because of the size of the hotel, the inventory they have, and the simplicity of their product. And it is a sort of 3-legged stool effect. I take it from an old colleague from Radisson Hotels. It's a marketing effect. It's a revenue management effect. It's a sales effect. You take one of those, digitalization falls away from each other. So in reality, that's actually the way we were able to actually create more digital customer experience. And on top of that, once you create this data layer where you connect channel managers up, they create a data model for an RFP. And what that helps tech companies like myself is that we can now start putting business rules together for RFP automation. We don't need actually AI for everything. However, it's a cool buzzword and we use it as well. But some things can be automated, and a lot of business practices are sort of repetitive, meaning, do I check a meeting room availability? Do I know the capacity because of the actual seating style? Do I know the F&B product? Because let's be honest, we are all selling tea, coffee, lunch, buffet, and tea, coffee, afternoon. There's no game changer there for technology not to understand. Sorry to be a bit ironic or dismissive of the product, but it's just a matter of fact. And of course, if we're able to get that from the channels, we're not just taking what took days to respond to Cvent. We're taking that data and actually formulating it and actually putting a proposal together within seconds, because we can check on your behalf what your agent then goes and scrolls between all the availability blocks and the pricing once we've connected all together. And that's actually one of the most interesting points. And Cvent will preach this, but I won't be a Cvent preacher. I'm just going to give you our data. When people use digital connection, their increase in conversion goes up by 78%. And what that means for Cvent, it's not a high conversion ratio because Cvent usually sits around this 3 to 5% marker. But if you go from 3% to 7%, that's a huge increase when the value of a booking is 50,000. Yeah, no worries. So that's in reality the whole perspective of digitalization. So the point really is your customer really knows exactly how they want to book. You can give them that capability. Speed wins through instant booking capabilities because it doesn't allow you to have a drop-off of the customer experience. And finally, let us do the digitalizations on non-priority revenues so your teams can focus on it. I've run out of time, but you'll find me in the coffee area, so we can speak more when you've got time. Thanks, guys.